Back on, Gerty rude. Back again in a, what are we, Monday mood. Oh, look at this. I thought we'd have a look at this. Isn't that splendiferously delicious? Isn't that gorgeous? Honest to God, anybody would think I'd made that. They really would. Apart from I wouldn't be putting my fingers all over it with my fingernail varnish on and sticking on loads of leaves. To be fair, the size of that cake, that's like a cupcake to me. That'd be gone in 2 mouthfuls. But anyway, good luck to her. She's trying. She wants to be a cook. She wants to be chef. She wants to be Delia, doesn't she? Delia Smith. She's going to learn us all how to boil an egg, darlings. Any minute now. Hold on. All you people out there that can't cook, and you're on Uber Eats every night, so they bring you a takeaway delivery. Yeah, just watch your Megalite. And watch all her 8 episodes, and at the end of it, just book another Uber. Anyway, let's go. What's going on?
As somebody in the celebrity world is what you have to do. So she's always
there's Mindy.
Making another step.
Mindy's there. Hello, Mindy. Shut up, Mindy. It's my show.
But with Love and Meghan hasn't been, as far as I can see, a great success.
I like Hugo. I've read a really good book of Hugo's. It was a sort of semi-autobiographical biographical book about was it somebody he knew or some relation of his, or maybe it was someone he was evacuated with in the war, something like that, and they lived in the grounds of Windsor Castle. Yeah, if I can remember what the name of the book is, I'll let you know. It's amazing, but it was a tale that started nowhere. The middle of it, nothing really much happened, and it kind of ended exactly the same as it started. It didn't really say anything or have any plot to it, but it's one of the rare books I've read like that and thought, oh, actually, it was okay. I don't know what it was about, but it was okay. It was interesting. It was kind of walk back in time, really, of how it's about repressed love and the mores of the post-war sexual. We hadn't had the sexual revolution till the 60s. I mean, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for a sexual revolution. No, none of us would have been. So it was all about that, and him. Sure, it was for Hugo Vickers. Actually, positive. I don't want to say all this and it isn't. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Hugo Vickers. Anyway, and it was all happening, and it wasn't not a novel. It was actually people he knew, and they lived in grace and favour cottages and houses on the Windsor Castle estate. There you go. So I've always had a soft spot for Hugo.
And it's been
Hugo,
very
darling.
highly criticised.
And
this one looks a little bit touchy-feely as well. It's one of those sort of awful things about, if you're going to watch a programme about how people set up a small business and turn it into something fabulous, personally, I'd rather watch a real expert, who was tried and tested in the field, than somebody who swans in and sort of delivers herself of some sort of random thoughts. But that's just my opinion.
Wow.
I mean, the other one...
So I don't think you're actually allowed to have an opinion. Who's that in that photo? That looks like the young Duke of Gloucester. Why would he have a picture of the Duke of Gloucester? Mind you, don't ask. He's probably written a book. Because he does that. He's what one might call it a royal biographer. Is it the Duke of Gloucester? Because everybody looked like the Duke of Gloucester back in those days, didn't they? Do you get me? The black and white, photographs. They hadn't invented colour. So, yeah, Megalite's still here. Megalite's still being a pain and still bringing nothing to the table.
Wasn't a success, and this one may or may not be. I suppose if I'm being sort of logical, looking at it from afar, she has to keep trying. I mean, it is possible.
Oh, she's trying, all right, Hugo. She's trying. One thing she most definitely is very, very, very trying.
Suppose that, if she does enough podcasts, eventually one of them will work.
Yes,
but
none of
this
them will.
one doesn't look terribly
because
exciting.
I think when you've done like 2 lots, if you've done two lots of things and they fell flat on their face, then it's probably best. It's like the banana bread. Wasn't it they had to bake 10 of them before she picked one that was appropriate and good enough for her to give as a gift, saying she'd actually made it, but she hadn't. She'd made a member of staff stay up all night making all these banana breads and they were never up to spec. So I would have said probably after the 2nd or 3rd banana bread, just chuck in Chuck it in the bin, go down Walmart, love.
To me, but having said that, I guess you do just have to keep going. I suppose that is the message that comes out for the rest of us, whether we watch it or we don't. The thing is, if you go out into the public arena in the way that she's done, you are bound
It's Weird Al.
to inspire other people who've been there first.
Look at me, I'm squirting things everywhere. I can't help myself. By Daniel Mannett. I'm just squirting all over the place. He does that to me as that effect. I'm like that. I thought I was back on 90210 again. I was going to nosh him.
Saying, you're using my name, you're using my idea.
Myself.
We've already
Here
done
we
it.
go. Did you see that with the petals?
Indeed, with the cookery program.
Did you see that
Actually,
with the
that
petals?
doesn't work. You shouldn't be pouring boiling water onto pasta. We don't do that in Italy.
Nobody does that. Literally, I have never, ever, ever, anywhere I've ever been, seen it cooked that way. I told the pasta goes into the boiling water, not the other way round. It's a bit of a TikTok craze as well. There's some of these, what would they call themselves? I don't know. They think there's something they ain't, stuck up. And they're on TikTok menus. And what you do is you just put some pasta in a bowl, put some hot water in it, some tomatoes, some basil, and bit of this and that, and stick it in the oven and then go back about an hour and 3 hours later, and bish bash bosh, you're going to have some burnt pasta, something caked to the bottom of your baking pan, something like that, because literally that is not how you cook pasta. It's the other way around. Yeah, and it's fresh. If it's fresh pasta, you want the pan on a rolling easy boil, not a boiling boil, just a nice gentle rolling boil, and then you just plunge it in and out, really, don't you? A bit like noodles, darling. You don't want to cook them to death because they just go soggy and plaintive and horrible, and they will actually probably end up writing somebody and suing you for doing that to them. That is usually what happens. But the Marklet, she's a culinary bleeding craftsman.
We do it in a much better way. All those things
going
happen.
on there.
And this is where
Bruschetta, are you better? Are you well? There you go.
she's always going to be in a
What is she doing now? What's she doing? I keep trying to get her face
problem,
on.
I think, because of some of the things that she said in the
love
past, which have been very contentious.
She's not pretentious, Hugo. What a nasty thing to say about the Marklet. How can you say
Things
she's
that she
pretentious?
said in the past, which have been very contentious.
Oh, contentious. I thought you said pretentious. I don't think she's contentious. I think everybody's on the same page, really, when it comes to her. Go on.
There is a lot of hostility towards her.
No, there's
And
not.
there's also a lot of suspicion.
There's not a lot of hostility. Stop negging out on everybody. Oh, the Marklet's perfect. People are being hostility and all this to her. She's doing her shit, and people are coming along and criticising her. I've done parodies, not recently, because obviously I'm. Do you know what I mean? But I have done ones where I've completely missed the mark, especially when I'm trying to do like a thin politician. Doesn't work. Just really doesn't work. And I've had to take it down. Yeah, you don't always hit the mark right, but if you can get sort of 80% is kind of nice. 90% is better, but you're never going to get 100%. Everybody makes mistakes, but the poor old Marklet. Where shall I start with Marklet? Where shall we all start with Marklet? Well, it's the weave down to the bleeding claws, and then you got the bleeding hooves, and the fingers prodding in everything, and all the oohing and ahhing like she's just riding friendly Harry's Mr. Toad, that sort of thing that no one wants. It's sort of ick, isn't it? And it's sort of icky if they're in, say, their late teens, early 20s, but it's kind of like get a room type of vibe going on. But when she's knocking, come on everybody, she's 47, she's going to be 48, 4th of August, as far as I make it anyway. My math, and I'm not good at math, so I could be wrong, but yeah, she looks every day of 47 coming up to a nice looking 48. It's a bit primp and tuck and everything, but there's no way that's 44. Do you get me, Capiche? No way. If that's 44, so am I, love. Anyway, let's go.
What is she really up to?
What is she really up to, Hugo?
What is quite interesting is if you look at her in the Love Megan thing, when she's all syrupy in the kitchen,
yes,
and if you flick back and you watch her with sort of dark-eyed makeup in the Oprah Winfrey interview, sort of attacking the royal family, and really would.
But she was playing to the Wallis-esque vibe. I think someone even reproduced the picture of Wallis when she'd got the application. But the reason in those days they wore a lot of black eyeliners because it's only black and white film and black and white photography. So obviously she defined her eyes with big, thick black eyeliner to define them, as I just said, Gerty. Marklet didn't need to do that, but she likes to replicate. She can never be herself. Stay in the moment and do what she's always saying, be present. She's always like 10 steps ahead or 10 steps behind, thinking about this, thinking about that. Has she fingered that petal enough? Cut, let's start again. Lighting, camera, action, go. Me. That's her. That's where she falls down.
Allegations. It's almost two different people.
I mean, in the arts,
so
she is in the arts. I mean, she's doing photography, filming is the arts, acting is the arts, even presenting this nonsense old crap. It's all, what's it Michael Jackson said? Show business is all razzle dazzle. So in other words, it's thinly seen through a veil. You know, it's not real. In other words, so yeah, it shouldn't it be a lighter touch? It should be something that's fun and have a light touch to it rather than such an angst-ridden sort of nail-biting perfection, almost anally retentive obsession, you know, OCD of perfection. Let me finger that petal one more time type of vibe.
Stuff in a completely different way, and I think that we are all rather suspicious of this, and we wonder what's really going on, and it comes back to the same message all the time of endless reinvention.
She don't muck about the Marklet, does she? You can see as plain as anything she had the old Lamborghini on there. She'd been down the Walmart, she'd got the Lamborghini. She's probably got all the Lamborghini out of there.
Give her credit is that despite everything that people say and everything that people...
That poor food, you know, she's took so many takes. It did start off sort of fresh and buoyant and sort of zingy. And I think by the look of the shadows, this is the early afternoon, isn't it? If not middle to late afternoon. And it's all looking like it was cut up at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's now totally deceased.
Criticise her for, she keeps going. And as I say, that is kind of what you have to do in life.
What's going on?
You know, maybe it'll work out.
Freaking hell is that concoction? And there's nothing less savoury looking or appetising looking as a cold quiche. Are we on the same page, ladies? Are we on the same page? I make the most wonderful quiches, as I'm sure all you do. And many manifestations of quiche-like flangeless stuffages. And when you get them out of the oven, they're beautiful, aren't they? They're beautiful, but you've got to get them straight onto the plate and down your neck. Because if you leave them hanging around in the sunshine for like 6 or 7, 8 hours, they do end up looking like this sad relic of a bygone glory of 6 or 7 hours ago when it peaked. It was in its peak of fitness, puffed up as it was when it came out of the oven. Oh,
but
God.
You asked me my professional opinion. I don't think it will.
No, I don't think it will.
Well, I do think she's spreading herself rather thin.
I don't know what it is that you don't think it will, but if it's about the Marklet, I do agree. Whatever it is, I don't think she will. I just literally don't think she will. Whatever that thing is, she definitely won't.
And as for it being a cookery programme, if it was a real cookery programme, I would have liked to have...
Cock a load of bleeding old nonsense show.
...seen, I don't know...
And I mean, funny, it's like every time she bangs a bloke, she becomes him. She embodies him, doesn't she? It's the wonder she hasn't taken up golf, mind you, give her time. She probably does. She probably tees off with Harry, all right, doesn't she? She probably uses one of them old driver clubs on him, doesn't she? Straight down the fairway. Off you go, boy. Oh, the poor old Marklet. She's like a national Bobo doll.
An access to some sort of handsheet as to how you could actually create these dishes later on back at home, but we didn't get that, so I don't think it was about cooking at all. It was
no one can, and if you did recreate that nonsense and then invited a load of people round, they would see immediately the celery had been cut up at like 8 o'clock in the morning and been out sweltering in the sun. And the sun is now moving round, casting a late afternoon shadow, and it is depleted, and no more succulent. No, it isn't in its best of health, and no one will want to eat it. They probably all go home. They probably just drink your Lamborghini. They probably all get pissed up and start weeing behind the flower beds. They'd be in the shrubbery. They'd be in the shrubbery, letting forth, ripping.
About Megan.
Puking
was
up
Megan
cold
wearing
quiche.
different outfits and swanning around in somebody else's kitchen.
Yeah.
Hardly ever wearing an apron, as far as I could see, which, I don't know about you, but most people in the kitchen, it's usually quite...
And I didn't see her once wash her hands. It made me a bit pukey. And, yeah, keep touching. She's touching them, poking. Watch her. My special, bête noire is touching face, touching hair, then touching food again. I don't want to see that. You see that on quite a few YouTube cooking aficionados. You know, they don't mean to. I mean, you know, what I do personally, YouTubers, I don't watch them. But other people, you know what I mean? Good for you. Brilliant. My personal thing is it makes me cringe, so I cannot watch any of them. And some of them even touch their nose. Oh, dearie me. I'm like, click off.
Exotic, actually, and then sometimes good results come out. So it didn't really seem to be
Hello, it's Daniel.
terribly genuine.
No, we didn't. We were talking about genuine. It wasn't genuinely actually hallucinated on, was it? That Daniel lives in a cottage in her garden in Monty Shit Show. No, I caught that. Not many people did, but I did. He said it as an aside with a sort of nervous laugh on the end. Oh yeah, look at the cottage in your oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. It's type of thing. And she is holding forth now to Daniel about, look at her, she's like raising it from the dead. I hereby raise you, pastor, the dearly departed from the dead, now one and all. Hallelujah and praise the Lord. Please, cometh upeth. You are reborn. You may go in peace to love and serve the Lord, pastor. Off you go. Yes, I have freed you. Freedom to pastor. Oh my God, I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, she's illuminating about this pasta. She's got it in a bowl with some sad something in there going on. Is that guy's dog biscuit bowl? I think it might be. So anyway, and now she is holding forth on the wonder, because she is marvellous. She boils a kettle, because I've seen this bit, or does she boil some water on the stove? Either, it doesn't matter, it's inconsequential. Anyway, she gets her old claws out, and she finds some boiling water, and she puts them all over the top, and she's like Rembrandt? Yeah, Rembrandt. Or Michelangelo. She does it with a flourish, as if to say, look at me, look, ta-da! A culinary feast, my darlings. Yes, invented for yous from me, the Marklet. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Please, whatever anybody does, don't let her go out with a bleeding soldier, because that would be the end of the world. As we know it, she'll be going over bleed. She'll be doing all sorts. She'll be going over those assault courses. She'll be going up mountains, won't she? She'll be signing peace agreements and treaties. Mind you, she did try and do that. Tried to get herself into politics. That'll be the next thing.
Sorry, and then now we're going to get lots of conversations which we can listen into, I suppose, of her chatting to people who've succeeded and people who've failed. You know, what are their tricks? What are their tumbles? She tells us.
Oh.
Apparently, it's all going to be great fun.
Right.
Well, wait and see. She's at the moment had more.
Let's do that all cack-handed. Is that wrong? Is that an American thing where you put dried pasta in and then put water on it? Are we doing it wrong? Because in Italy and in Europe, well, as far as I've always been taught, well, in fact, I've always done, you put the pasta in the rolling boiling water, don't you? That's what you do. Leave it for a couple of minutes and then you turn it down, put the top on, don't you? That's what you do. That's what I do. Otherwise, it comes out all soggy and fetid and it's not worth even eating. Anyway, I think we've had enough.
Tumbles and anything else, but I think where she's in trouble is that the world is sort of rather turning against her, and you know, when you say turning, I think it's turned and turned and turned and turned. I really do think that she, you know, there's a lot of money in YouTube beef. There's a lot of money in hate watching, and there's a lot of money in people watching, because money's money. They don't care how they get the money. Do you get me? I think all this is hogswash. She is just going to be out there ad infinitum, world without end, coining it in, and doesn't really care if people don't like her, because she can still play the victim.
She's being genuine and doing all this shoot for us, and we're just moaning about her, and she's marvellous. She's like a saint. She's like the baby Jesus. That's what she is. So, yeah, because there literally is money in being not liked, being infamous as well as famous. Anyway, I've had enough. I think I've got a cold, another one. It's that time of year where all the, what's this coming out, the shrubs and that, and the trees with the blossoms, yeah, and then that's me, I go down to casualty. I mean, I don't, just metaphorically. Yeah, me allergies, I've got allergies! Anyway, so...
I mean, you've actually go right back to the wedding. I mean, I can't tell you how excited everybody was when she came on the scene. And somehow...
I was excited because it was a day off work.
She's managed to turn all that round, and all those horrible allegations that she made about the royal family, a lot of which have been withdrawn.
She literally went from hero to zero overnight, didn't she? Anyway, let's go, because Babs is shouting at me. I don't know what's happening. I think she's playing with my child, as is well. Anyway, wherever you are in the world, do have a marvellous afternoon, evening, morning, or good night. And remember, I love you all, each of you, individually. Yes, you are very important, very discerning, very intelligent and well-rounded people, all of you. Love you, bye-bye.